Race 6A. This is a kind of a tough race. It's 2 weeks after the Golden Slipper, which is a 6 furlong race for $2.2 million American. It's 3 million Aussie dollars. And this is also a grade one, but it's for 7 furlongs, and the purse is only $307,000 Australian. In other words, the purse is 10 times less. So most horses don't aim for this race. I'm going to put Margan on top for two reasons. One, he ran really well in the slipper. He was my long shot in the slipper at 16 to 1 odds. Couldn't quite get it done. He was right there at the 8th pole. And I just think with the draw and post too, he's going to be really hard to beat. I think the soft turf is going to help him if it's soft turf. Number 3, Prague, has comparable talent and a little more race experience than the 1. But he drew post 15, so it's going to be hard for him to win. But I think he can get second or third. Number 8, All Kirk. He's been really good all along in his career, and I think they probably figured they couldn't make the slipper, so they pointed for this race with him. He's a pretty good horse, so I wouldn't throw him out. And then my last pick is going to be number 6, Holyfield, who has 2 wins at the 7 furlong distance and is 3 for 4 in its career. So obviously a win type of horse, and appears to be going in the right direction for the very competent Kiar and Maher. Race 7A. Calcavecchio was my second pick 2 weeks ago, but he was really good odds, especially in the American pools until very late when some of the fans noticed he was only 7 to 1 in Australia, and I had like a $20 win bet on him at the time, I think. And he wound up paying a little bit over 7 to 1 in the North American pool. And if you just look at his good speed figures, he's just better than these horses. So I'm going to put number 1, Castelvecchio, on top. Shadow Hero was the favorite in the same race, and the track was not favoring closers. It was favoring horses that were in the top 3 or 4 in the field at the first call. So I'm going to put him second. Warning is kind of a grinder, but I think he can do a little better, and he also comes out of the same race. And lastly, Sherwood Forest. I think switching from Walker to McAvoy is going to help, because Michael Walker is a really good jockey, but he primarily rides in Melbourne. And Randwick is just a much different track, and Karen McAvoy is based in Sydney, so I think he's going to give this Sherwood Forest a good ride. I would use him in the trifecta for sure. Race 8A, I'm really excited about this race. Whenever you get the top Australian grass sprinters together, like you do here in the TJ Smith, these are the best of the best in the world. So I encourage people that are new to Australian racing, really pay attention to this 8th race. You're going to see some of the best sprinters on the planet. Ones that are as good as our sprinters, and arguably on grass better than our grass sprinters. So I'm going to put Parada on top. I read some posts on Twitter and Facebook this week that horse wasn't cranked, that they're aiming for this race because the purse is bigger and the prestige. TJ Smith was a really famous trainer in Australia. He's no longer alive, but was one of the bigger names like 30, 40 years ago. Number 3, Santa Ana Lane. If you look at his record, he's really not all that at Randwick. I I think he's better at other tracks, but he's a really, really good sprinter. Nature Strip, number 1. He really needs everything to go his own way. If you get in his face at all, he kind of tends to self-destruct. And I think number 4, Red Zell, has the quickness to make him exert himself a little bit. So let's go in order. 2, Parada. 3, Santa Ana Lane. Number 1, Nature Strip for 3rd. And number 4, Red Zell. Race 9A, the feature from Randwick is the Doncaster Handicap. And unlike America, where we think 2 pounds is a handicap and trainers bitch about carrying 2 or 3 more pounds, in Australia, they take pride in trying to make these races even by distributing the weights. And if you look at number 19, Brandenburg, and number 20, Prince Fawaz, they're relatively pretty fast horses, and they're getting a lot of weight off because they are 3-year-olds taking on the older horses. The jockey on the 19, Glenn Boss, he's known as basically his win percentage in the big races tends to be higher than overall. He's won this race 7 times already in his career, and he's going to be my pick. I've also heard this horse is going to be the lukewarm, like 4-1 kind of favorite in Australia. So there won't be a lot of value on this horse, but I think he fits. Number 20, Prince Fawaz. There's nothing wrong with this horse. He's getting better. And he's taken off 14 pounds from his last race. So I think you got to use him, especially in post 11 in a 20-horse field. I think this horse is really dangerous. And note, he ran second to Castle Vecchio, who we already have picked in the Australian Derby. My third pick is Conti Patiro, Waterhouse, and Adrian Bott. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott. They've won big races so far this spring or fall in Australia. And this is their pick of the weekend. They're really excited about this horse, so I had to throw it in at 118 pounds. And Imaging just appears to be going the right way, has a great record, number 12. So my picks are in order: 19, 20, 11, 12. That's 19, Brandenburg, 20, Prince Fawaz, number 11, Conti Patiro, and number 12, Imaging. Race 10A. This is kind of an interesting field. These are horses that decided not to go in the TJ Smith. Number 2, Rubisaki. They've been pointing for this race with her. They've been slowly working her up the grades. I think she's going to win pretty easily. And if you can get 3-1 on her, I think that's a really good price. She's listed as just over 2-1 in the Australian form. Number 1, Kiamichi. Her last race, another jockey went out of his way to make sure she didn't get the lead, which she kind of needs to be successful. And it wouldn't surprise me if the track was favoring speed that she would outrun her odds. She's currently 7-1. I think there's some value there. And the third pick is number 5, Sangria, for the Peter and Paul Snowden. For my money, Peter and Paul are the best trainers of sprinters in Sydney, and they're very reliable. Their horses always run well, or almost always. So 10A, number 2, Rubisaki, a clear favorite. Number 1, Kiamichi, possible loose speed, might have value, and number 5, Sangria to close out the try. Good luck on your selections.